You will answer thoracic and abdominal part of aorta. You already know that aorta consists of ascendens part, pars ascendens of aorta, and descendens part. And descendens part of aorta subdivides into thoracic and abdominal, and border between them diaphragm. And abdominal aorta at the level of L4 subdivides into common iliac arteries. Now, thoracic part of aorta, it has parietal and visceral branches. Parietal branches, they are arteria intercostalis. How many? Oh, they are posterior intercostal arteries. You remember anterior intercostal. Anterior intercostal, they are 6 in number, and they are branches of what? Oh, internal thoracic. Arteria thoracica interna. But posterior intercostal arteries, total number is 12, but first and second posterior intercostal artery starts from what? That is subclavian artery, and subclavian artery gives truncus costa cervicalis, and costa cervical trunk gives arteria intercostalis suprema, and it subdivides into first and second posterior intercostal arteries. First and second from costa cervical trunk, from subclavian artery, all another from third till 12th. They start directly from thoracic aorta. And 12th artery, it has name subcostal, because it passes not between ribs, but below of 12th rib. That is why 12th posterior intercostal artery has name subcostal arteria subcostalis. Clear it is. Next, another parietal branch, that is arteria phrenica superior. It goes to diaphragm. And from abdominal aorta, it is clear that we have arteria phrenica inferior. And do you know another arteries which also supplies diaphragm? Pericardiaca phrenica and muscular phrenica. Both of them are branches from internal thoracic artery. Arteria muscular phrenica and arteria pericardiaca phrenica, they are branches which goes to diaphragm. That is why how many arteries supply diaphragm? 4. 1, 2, superior and inferior phrenic artery from thoracic and abdominal aorta, muscular phrenic and pericardiaca phrenic artery. They are parietal. Now, visceral branches from thoracic part of aorta. Visceral goes to inner organs. Which inner organs do you know in thoracic cage? Lungs, esophagus. Oh, heart receive blood from coronary vessels, arteria coronaria, but pericardium, arteria pericardias, they start from thoracic part of aorta. Lungs receive blood from arteria bronchialis, bronchial arteries goes to lungs, and arteria esophagealis goes to esophagus. Clear? Now, abdominal aorta. The same, it has parietal and visceral branches. Parietal, they are inferior phrenic artery, then arteria lumbalis, lumbar, four pairs lumbar arteries, arteria lumbalis, and last is arteria sacralis mediana. This artery descends to sacral bone from place of bifurcation of abdominal aorta into common iliac, and from this place arteria sacralis mediana descend to sacral bone. They are parietal branches. And now visceral. Visceral branches from abdominal aorta consist of paired and unpaired. Paired visceral branches goes to paired organs. Please, which paired organs do you know? Kidney, okay, that is why it has renal artery, arteria renalis. Renal artery goes to kidney. What else? Yes, ovary or testis, and arteria avarica or arteria testicularis, that is branch of abdominal aorta. Very good. And last paired organ? Adrenal gland, suprarenal gland. Adrenal gland has 3 arteries, but directly from aorta only one, that is arteria suprarenalis media, directly from aorta. Arteria suprarenalis superior start from arteria phrenica inferior, and arteria suprarenalis inferior start from arteria renalis. Here it is superior, here it is inferior, and suprarenalis media directly from abdominal aorta. They are paired visceral branches, 3: renal, suprarenal, and arteria varica or arteria testicularis. And now unpaired visceral branches. Unpaired visceral branches. Here it is abdominal aorta, common iliac arteries. Unpaired arteries goes to unpaired organs. Please, what are they? Stomach, spleen, pancreas, liver, and intestine, small and large intestine. And now, only 3 unpaired arteries. First, that is celiac trunk. It is shortest unpaired artery. Celiac trunk, then superior mesenteric artery, and inferior mesenteric artery. 3 unpaired branches from abdominal aorta. And now, that is what? Stomach. Here it is duodenum. That is pancreas. Here it is spleen, and here it is liver. And now, celiac trunk gives 3 branches. Largest branch, that is splenic artery, arteria lienalis. Arteria lienalis, it goes to spleen. Next, left gastric artery, arteria gastrica sinistra, it goes to the lesser curvature, and common hepatic artery, arteria hepatica communis, common hepatic artery, 3 branches. Arteria lienalis, arteria gastrica sinistra, and arteria hepatica communis. Common hepatic artery gives gastroduodenal artery, arteria gastroduodenalis, and from this place continues properhepatic artery, arteria hepatica propria. And properhepatic artery gives right gastric artery, arteria gastrica dextra, and right gastric artery makes anastomosis with left gastric artery in lesser cavity of the stomach. Clear it is. From this place, proper hepatic artery goes to liver and subdivides into left and right branch, ramus dexter and sinister. And right branch gives cystic artery which goes to the gallbladder. Arteria cystica start from right branch of proper hepatic artery. Now, gastroduodenal artery. Gastroduodenal subdivides into 2 branches. Right gastroepiploic artery, arteria gastroepiploica dextra, and superior pancreatica duodenal artery supplies head of the pancreas and duodenum. And right gastroepiploic artery joined together with left gastroepiploic artery from splenic artery and makes anastomosis in greater cavity of the stomach. And the same from splenic artery, we have short gastric arteries, arteria gastrica brevis. They goes to the fundus of stomach, and anastomosis with arterial arch in greater cavity and in lesser cavity of the stomach. Clear it is. What else? Splenic artery, the same, gives rami pancreatids, which supplies body and tail of pancreas. And then splenic artery supplies spleen. Now, superior mesenteric artery. Superior mesenteric artery gives arteria pancreatica duodenalis inferior. The same supplies head of pancreas and duodenum. The same superior mesenteric artery gives numerous intestinal arteries, arteria intestinalis. They goes to small intestine, and if you remember, small intestine consists of duodenum, and then what? Jejunum and ileum. And all of them makes anastomosis one with another. And if we speak about jejunum, arteries which supplies jejunum makes 3 rows of anastomosis in mesenteric, 3 rows. If we speak about ileum, it is only 2 rows of anastomosis, and after that, intestinal arteries goes to jejunum and ileum and supplies them. Clear it is? That is jejunal, arteria jejunalis, and it is arteria ilealis. It is 3 rows of anastomosis or arcades, and it is 2 rows. Next branch from superior mesenteric, that is ileocolic artery. Arteria ileocolica goes to terminal end of ileum, and it supplies appendix vermiformis. Ileocolic artery goes to cecum, it goes to ileum, and it gives arteria appendicularis. Arteria appendicularis and supplies appendix vermiformis. Next, what is this intestine? No, okay, what is this part of ascendens colon? Ascendens. Then it is transverse colon. It is descendens. This one is sigmoid, and sigmoid continues into rectum. And now, from superior mesenteric artery, we have arteria colica dextra, and it gives descendens branch and ascendens branch. Descendens makes anastomosis with ileocolic artery. And here we have arteria colica media, and arteria colica media subdivides into right and left branches and makes anastomosis here and here. Inferior mesenteric artery. Can you move it from here? Inferior mesenteric artery gives arteria colica sinistra, and left colic artery gives the same ascendens and descendens branch. And it makes anastomosis with arteria colica media. Next branch, that is sigmoid artery, arteria sigmoidea, and last, that is superior rectal artery, arteria rectalis superior. 3 branches we have in inferior mesenteric artery: colica sinistra, arteria sigmoidea, or sometimes 2, maybe 3 sigmoid arteries, and arteria rectalis superior. Of course, not necessary to draw next time, but I give you written test and you will write blood supply of inner organs. For example, blood supply of adrenal gland. You should answer that adrenal gland has 3 arteries. Arteria suprarenalis superior from arteria phrenica inferior, arteria suprarenalis media from abdominal aorta, and arteria suprarenalis inferior from renal artery. Blood supply of diaphragm: arteria phrenica superior from thoracic part of aorta, arteria phrenica inferior from abdominal part, arteria muscular phrenica and pericardiaca phrenica from internal thoracic artery, and internal thoracic from subclavian artery. Next, blood supply of pancreas. Head of the pancreas receive blood from superior pancreatic duodenal artery. It is branch from gastroduodenal, and gastroduodenal artery from common hepatic, and common hepatic from celiac trunk, and inferior pancreatic duodenal artery It is branch of superior mesenteric artery. Body and tail of pancreas supplies by arteria pancreatici from splenic artery, from arteria lienalis. Next, small intestine. Duodenum, the same like head of the pancreas, superior and inferior pancreatic and duodenal arteries. Jejunum and ileum receive blood from arteria intestinalis. They start from superior mesenteric artery. And jejunum, arteria jejunalis, makes 3 rows of anastomosis, and arteria ilealis 2 rows. And terminal end of ileum receive blood from arteria ileocolica, from superior mesenteric artery. Stomach. We have 2 arches, in lesser and in greater curvature. In lesser curvature, anastomosis between left and right gastric arteries. Arteria gastrica sinistra starts from celiac trunk, and arteria gastrica dextra starts from proper. Yes, proper hepatic artery, and proper hepatic from common hepatic, and common hepatic from celiac trunk. In greater curvature of the stomach, we have anastomosis between right and left gastroepiploic arteries. Right artery starts from gastroduodenal, and gastroduodenal from common hepatic from celiac trunk, and left gastroduodenal from splenic artery. And fundus of stomach receive arteria gastrica brevis from splenic artery. And large intestine the same. Ileocolic artery supplies cecum. Arteria colica media supplies colon ascendens. Colica dextra supplies colon ascendens. Arteria colica media supplies transverse colon. All of them from superior mesenteric artery. And inferior mesenteric artery gives arteria colica sinistra, it goes to descendens colon. Sigmoid arteries go to sigmoid colon, and superior rectal artery goes to upper part of rectum. Now time for break, and after the break we try to see